Well, Joyce, for weeks now, Governor Jay Inslee has said one of the keys to reopening the state is having a good contact tracing system in place. And he says we're pretty close to that. He knows it will be a major challenge, he says, but he also says it can prevent the number of cases from increasing and rising. Governor Jay Inslee says his COVID contact tracing initiative will have about 1,400 members trained by the end of this week, made up of reassigned state workers, health officials, and the Washington National Guard. The goal for the tracers: reach out to anyone who may have been exposed to a positive case within 48 hours of that person testing positive. That will require a lot of questions and answers, but the state says a patient's privacy will be protected. But at a time when the state can't keep up with unemployment claims, we asked if tracking down everyone who may have been exposed is realistic. The governor says yes, and compared it to a fire brigade.
When you have a fire in your house, you call the fire department. They come, they put out the fire. We want to do the same thing for COVID, and we now have 1,391 people who on just a couple days' notice can be available to do what's necessary to do this contact tracing. This is more than adequate for the existing needs, but we want to continue to build that at least a bit so that we can have that available in case a spike occurs.
While the National Guard has been activated and members are being trained as we speak, the governor and National Guard are making it clear they are not playing any law enforcement role. They are purely going to be helping contact potential people who are exposed and the patients as well. Back to you.
So, Drew, quick question. What happens if somebody does test positive? What can they expect? I mean, do they have to keep logs of everywhere they've been?
It's not going to be that involved, but if you test positive, you can expect to get a phone call from one of these tracers. They will want to know who you have been in close contact with. Who have you been within 6 feet of, perhaps for more than 10 minutes at a time? What businesses have you visited? That would be helpful as well. But this is all voluntary, and that was not something that was really dwelled on here at the press conference today. But if you want to opt out on this contact tracing, you have that right. But the Department of Health hopes that people, in the interest of reducing these numbers and reaching out to potential loved ones who were exposed, the hope is people will comply and cooperate.
All right, Drew, reporting live for us. Thank you.
And we want to break that down just a little bit more from the governor's press conference today. Those guidelines, if you test positive for coronavirus, the state is now saying the first sign of symptoms, at the first sign, health officials want you to quarantine immediately and stay quarantined until getting a negative test result. Those who test positive will have to isolate for 14 days. That includes everyone in your household.